If you're looking for a used family SUV, it's likely that you're after something that is practical, well made, and isn't going to bust the budget either. And those are features that you could find in the Honda CR-V. It's a practical, family-focused SUV, which happens to have 7 seats, which means it could be an ideal choice if you're looking to take larger groups of people around. But if you are looking at buying a used CR-V, what should you be considering? What are the features that it has? And is it worthy of dropping your cash on when it does come time to buy? Well, that's what we're going to be finding out in this video for Cazoo. There are lots of practicality focused features inside the cabin of the Honda CR-V. There are loads of cubbies and storage areas. These 2 big cup holders in the middle are handy, and I like the fact that you've got a deep central section here and this adjustable area too, so you can keep items down the bottom hidden from prying eyes. There are also some additional charging ports down there, so USB and USB-C. So you've got plenty of areas to keep your devices topped up. And then turn to the main area of the cabin. Now, not all cars get a big infotainment screen. You go from SE grade and above to get a larger infotainment setting, but all versions will get media and smartphone connectivity functions as standard, and everything is tied together with a really nice chunky controls. So these controls down here for the heating and ventilation, nice and easy to use. And the screen itself, though, it's a little bit dated these days. There's plenty of functionality in there, so you can get control of what you need to as and when you need to. General fit and finish is good too, although I'm not quite sure on this slightly questionable wood trim, but that's down to personal taste. You might like it, and I'm sure you'll be able to find one with that in it for you. Switch to the rear seats and there's plenty of space back there. You really would have to be very tall indeed to find your head brushing the roof of the CR-V. And the seats themselves are adjustable too, so you can tailor between the amount of space that you're giving the person sitting behind you and how much space you have sitting in the middle. Speaking of those rearmost seats, I'd put them down to more occasional use. They're not dedicated chairs, but for kids or for shorter journeys for everyone else, they should prove just about okay. Then in terms of boot space, you've got 497 litres to play with those rearmost seats folded down. With the rear seats in place, it does shrink quite considerably, but with them folded away, there's a decent amount of space there for most occasions. Honda's range of cars have always been about sure-footed reliability, about user-friendliness, about a car that feels easy to get along with from the get-go, and the CR-V is very much like that. Now you can get it with a 1.5 litre turbocharged petrol engine or a 2 litre hybrid unit. And the one that we're in today has a manual gearbox, which is something of an oddity in this segment. You don't often tend to find manual gearboxes, but because it's similar to the one that you'll find on the similar age of Civic, it works really nicely. And actually it does bring a level of integration with the car that you don't usually get in an SUV. There are automatic versions available though, if you don't fancy changing gears yourself. But there's lots to like about the way the CR-V goes down the road. The body holding is very pleasant, and I feel like I've got a relatively low seating position, which is, again, something of a change in this segment. Now, the only area where this petrol version does fall back is in terms of fuel efficiency, because combined you'll probably get about 36 mpg, and against an equivalent hybrid, it's just not going to do as well on fuel. But this manual version and the petrol engine does bring the best possible towing capacity. So if you want to tow with your CR-V, then this is the model that you'll have to go for. Visibility wise, things are pretty good. The forward pillars are nice and slim, and over my shoulder there's not too much breakup with large pillars. What would I be looking for in a used CR-V? This one has covered just over 17,000 miles and it still feels pretty tight, although it should do, because that's not really a very big distance for cars like this. However, if you're looking for a petrol version with a manual gearbox, then I would be definitely checking to make sure that the gearbox is nice and smooth. This 6-speed has a classically notchy feeling to it, and it did when it was new. And so you want to make sure that all the gears select nice and precisely, and there's no missing or meshing or an odd feeling from the clutch pedal. A strangely high biting point could mean that the clutch is on the way out as well, so look out for that. Now, Hondas do usually have a good reputation for reliability, but as with all used cars, make sure that it's had a full service history, because that will really back up that ability to deliver more miles without any issues. You can always check the MOT history online too, and that'll give you a little bit of a picture about the backstory of the car that you're looking at. This is a family-focused vehicle after all, so a used example might have suffered from some interior wear and tear, and just make sure that everything has been looked after to the level that you'd like it to. And because you'll mostly find these cars driven around town, just make sure that all the bumpers and the alloy wheels are without damage. If you have found damage, then you're just going to have to negotiate a slightly different price. But the most important thing is looking for it in the first place. As a family SUV, the CR-V makes loads of sense. It's got space inside, it's got 7-seater practicality, which adds another string to this car's already well-strung bow, and it's also got a nice driving style which feels a little bit more on the side of the driver than the passengers, which is a breath of fresh air in this segment. Naturally, if you are looking for used versions of these, then I'd be making sure that there's plenty of service history to make sure that there are no electrical gremlins going on underneath. And I'd also be checking around the outside to make sure it hasn't been involved in any disputes with some local barriers or curbs. But find one that is in good condition and has a good service history, and there's no reason why the CR-V couldn't slot perfectly into family life. And the good news is that you'll find loads of great used examples on Cazoo today.